if I knew like, oh, you're only going to live for another 3 or 4 years, you betcha I'd quit this job right now and sell the house and we'd be out traveling if I knew that for a fact, but I don't.
I wake up in the morning with a smile on my face, feeling thankful for the love and the happiness we chase. Sun is shining brightly, sky so blue and clear. With every
Yeah, if you saw my last video, where am I at? I would say I am leaning towards um, keeping the house. Like I said, we could sell the house, pay off all debts, be debt free, and just travel. And, that would be great. But I like the idea of having a permanent home base. I would rather stay here and pay it off in the next 2 years and just be debt free. And we won't be able to travel as much, is the thing. We'll, still be traveling, but not like we would if we sold the house right now. That's all we would do. We would sell the house, buy an RV or van, and just start traveling. But and as good as that sounds, because we have friends and family in almost every state, and there's so many states that we haven't seen, down south and on the east, that we would like to visit. And I keep thinking we should do that while we're youngish and healthy, because I keep thinking, I'm going to continue working, but will my health be this good in a couple years, or will I be like, shoot, I missed the boat. I should have traveled while I was feeling, young and healthy. So it's, it's always going to be a struggle, money versus time and health. Those are issues we face at this age. You might have more of money, but not time, or you might have plenty of time and not enough money, or you could have plenty of money, but your health is bad. you know, um, it's the best is when you have all three. When you have money, you still have plenty of time, and you're in great health. That's what we all hope for. That's the goal. And right now, I have great health, some money, but I don't have the time because I am working so much. But eventually, maybe, like I said, 2 years down the road, I'll be in a position where I don't have to work as much. And by then, my debts will be paid and I'll have time, but not necessarily as much money as I would like to have. So I might just continue working. It's a hard decision, but I know the comments are split. Half of you are saying, "No, get out there and live your life. It's not guaranteed." And trust me, I feel that one because my mom died very young. She was 62 and she had big plans and she waited too long. And but then there's others that are like, "Nope, nope, just pay off your bills and just live frugally." And that's a good one too. I do want to be debt free, that's important. But if I pay off all my debts and my health declines, and I'm going to forever regret not taking advantage of this time. So yeah, it's always going to be a struggle. It just is. And I'm very fortunate, and I don't want people to think that I don't think otherwise. I know I'm very fortunate, that I have my health and I can work, um, as much as I am working right now and helping with my grandkids and doing all the things. I'm very fortunate, and I don't take that for granted. I worked very hard to get my health to this point because I wasn't always this healthy or this strong. And I had to, go in. I won't talk about that. That's boring. But if you've been watching my videos, what all I went through. So I've come a long way and I feel good about that. But the struggle is always going to be real for a lot of us. Like I said, we all want the trifecta: time, money, and health, but very few people get all three. So, you have to decide what's most important to you, you know? And for me, I feel that 2 years isn't that far away. So if I can just continue working and paying off my debts in 2 years, we'll be in a good place financially, and we could still travel as long as our health is good, because I have to consider my husband's health too. I mean, he's in great shape. He's healthy now, and he takes his medication and all that stuff, and things are fine. But we thought he was in great health 8 years ago when he had his heart attack. We were shocked, but it turns out it's a genetic thing. His dad had the same problem, and so you just never know, and that's the problem. None of us have a crystal ball. We can't see what the future holds. We could be around for another 20 years. So I want enough money to support us for the next 20 years to supplement our Social Security. And so that's important to me too. If I knew like, oh, you're only going to live for another 3 or 4 years, you betcha I'd quit this job right now and sell the house and we'd be out traveling if I knew that for a fact. But I don't. That's the thing. I don't know what the future holds. So I just have to try and do what I think is best. And my husband has a year left and then he'll be retired. And he's talked about doing some kind of side work or whatever, because I'll still be working. So he's like, what's the point? Even if he's retired, it's not like he's going to go traveling by himself. So, but at least he'll be able to quit the job that he has now, because he works like 60 hours a week with his drive, because he commutes an hour. So, and yeah, he's ready to retire, and he deserves to. So, like I said, you just never know what tomorrow's going to bring. I've seen a lot of people wait until they retire, and then you hear about them keeling over the very next day, or something tragic happens, and everybody's like, what a shame, why did they wait so long? We've all seen that. But then, I know of people that are still around in their 80s, and they're, having financial hardships, especially in this economy. Things are getting tough, and you don't want to be in that position either. Neither one of them are desirable. So, like I said, I know I'm fortunate that I'm in a position to pick and choose. I can decide. Some people aren't in that position. They have no choice. They have to keep working. They don't have a house to sell, or a helpmate that works with them, or some people can't work. Their health isn't good, and they have to, get by on whatever money they have. And so maybe they aren't living the retirement that they had originally planned on. you know they can't make any more money, and they have to be very frugal. So yeah, I totally get that. I'm fortunate that I have a choice. I can choose to do, either quit working, or and travel, or continue working, and just hoping that after, the few debts we have are paid off, and then I'll still be in great health, and we'll have plenty of time and money, and we can travel. So we'll see. We'll see what the future brings. But for right now, I'm fortunate to have, um, Uber and YouTube, because they both pay, not a lot, but what I need. Yeah, it would be nicer to have more, because then I could pay my debts off faster. But right now, with these two, like I said, I can, um, finish paying everything off in 2 years if things stay consistent. But if not, then I will have to look into getting another type of job. But at least I like what I'm doing. And I'm fortunate in that as well, because I've heard from people that absolutely loathe their jobs, and that's stressful, and that affects you mentally and physically as well when you're working a job you absolutely hate. So yeah, I know I'm fortunate in that respect as well. So thank you guys for watching and for your comments. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you in the next video.